Good morning and happy Tuesday. Welcome back to the Daily Grind. I'm your host, Chump Change. This is live and recorded. For anybody that might be new here, what we typically do is go over crypto news in the space. I update myself, bring you along for the ride. Let's see who's in the chat and then we'll get into this. Mr. Crypto Frank, my man, appreciate you, buddy. We have Shay Mining, Dom G, Zarkov, good to see you. We have Patrick Murphy, all set, feeling blessed. What's up, man? Good to see you. Dan R, let's see. Who else? Crypto KJ, my man, Mining of the North. Good to see you. Vinny, Andrew Masad. Let's see who else. Charles Harris. Good to see you, man. Alien Black. Game with Smokey Dan. Good morning, guys. Good morning. Enjoy the coffee. Let's get into this. Anybody else I may have missed, I apologize. Looking like Bitcoin, 63,584 bucks. It is holding over 60K. That's all we care about as of right now. You know, selling may and go away. It's looking pretty good though. Honestly, had a nice bounce back, so we'll see if it holds up. We have Ethereum at $3,070. I know there was a lot of talk about Bitcoin. Oh, Fun Strats Tom Lee was saying Bitcoin to 150K, so we're gonna have to see what they say over there. And then there's also some BS with Gensler and Robinhood and all that, so we're gonna watch some news on that today. And then I guess Gensler is supposed to be live this morning on CNBC television, so I am going to continue to refresh this to try to catch that clip. So they haven't uploaded it yet, but we're gonna try to get that this morning, so bear with me. Let's see. Solana, we're at 155 bucks, looking pretty good. LTC's at $81. We have Caspa at 11 cents or over 11 cents. ETC's 27 bucks. We have Matic down on the day to 70 cents. Let's see. Dogecoin is 15.5 cents or so. Teo BitTensor, 437 bucks. Is anybody buying that? Let me know in the chat if you are. HBAR is a little over 11 cents. Not too bad. Nothing really popping out at me though. XRP 53 cents. All right, let's see. Biggest earner on the day. What is this? IOS, I don't even know how you're supposed to say that. Network, 88 cents. Looks like it's ranked 88th. It jumped into the top 100. Up 14.8% on the day. Nice. Render's up 6.2 on the day. Everything else is in the red for the most part. Solana's up 1.3, so not too bad. It could be worse. Sand is down 4%. What in the hell, man? What in the hell? Let's see. I was gonna buy some, but it was a bit it's so stupid. Game with Smoking down. That literally made me think about how to say that. Oh, the worst. All right, let's see. Nothing really jumping out at me though, to be honest here. HNT is down 5.6%. Stark's down 6.5 to $1.28. We have Say down to 53 cents, down 5.6 on the day. Let's see. Multiverse. What the hell is this? Why is their ticker EGLD for Multiverse? Weird. That's a weird ticker. Like, what does that ticker mean? Anyways, it's 40 bucks and $40.09. Down 4.2% on the day. Loki's down 4.9 today. We have again BitTensor down 5.8% to $437. Yeah, that's it. All right, flashbang. Here we go. Fear and Greed Index, just make sure it's right. 68 seems to be pretty decent. We're under 75. It's actually under 70, which is good. Yesterday it was 71, as you guys know. Under 75, I think we're in neutral territory, in my opinion. Gundy, what's up, man? Good to see you. All right, let's see. Top 10 coins. Or first, let's check out the trending. Looks like Krill is up 4.1%. We have Maniki. That's how you say that. 10.6%. I probably butchered that. Friend.tech also up 4.9. The Maniki was down 10.6. All right, top 10 coins by coin market cap. Over on CoinGecko, we got Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USDC, XRP, Lido Staked Ether, Dogecoin, and Toncoin. Man, my throat is killing me today. What the hell is going on here? I can't speak, keep getting choked up. All right, Cardano's in 11th place. Oh, what the? Why did that just go to not dark mode? What in the hell? That was weird. Anyways, I think Cardano is a fantastic buy right now. Just my opinion, not financial advice, but all-time high again, $3.09, down 85.4%. I've said this time and time again. 2017 bull run, 2021 bull run, 2024 is just around the corner. I think we're going to see decent pumps in this coin. Easy 6x, my opinion. You guys do what you want. All right, Litecoin I think is another one. Same thing. It's down about 80% from its all-time high, if I'm not mistaken. It is exactly 80.2% actually. And I think we are going to do decent things again 2017, 2021. Why not? Why not? Litecoin is definitely one of them that I'm still accumulating. I'm mining it actually with my L7. What are you saying, Shay Mining? I didn't give you nothing. All right, if you guys have any questions, please feel free to ask. All right, let's see. We have Ethereum Classic again. I think this is going to live off the hype of Ethereum ETFs. Just my opinion. We have again 83% down. $167 was its all-time high. I'm not sure if it's going to get back there. I'm sure it could, right? It definitely could. I mean, I don't know why it actually spiked up as high as it did on the last run compared to 2017, but man, even if we get up to $100, I mean, damn, that's still 4x from this point, right? Or close to it. So I think Ethereum Classic's definitely one of those to mine if you guys are miners anyways, in my opinion. Let's see how CASP is doing. If that would open, that would be nice. Check out the max chart. Look at that. It's still in this descending like wedge here. Crazy. I mean, looking at this chart, which is ass, but it's gearing up for another leg up, at least in my opinion. What do you guys think? We're gonna get a pump up to 20 cents or so in the next run. I know they're getting the KRC 20 tokens, or getting ready for that, and smart contracts, or Rust rather, right? And then smart contracts. So there's gonna be a lot of things coming out for Caspa. Caspa's gonna be crazy. I don't know. We're down 41% at this point. I think it's a fantastic buy, just my opinion. You guys do what you want, but this coin has never seen a bull run if anybody's new here. So we're gonna see what happens there. All right, let's move on to the mining segment of things, see what we're looking like for profitability today. Looks like the KS5 Pro at 10 cents per kilowatt hour. After you pay that electric, you're making $85.26 a day. That's the 21 terahash unit. The KS5 20 terahash unit making $81.20. We got the AL box 360 gigahash unit making $47.09. Let's see how Lithium is doing actually. I haven't checked that in a while. $2.18. You guys think we're gonna come back from this or what? You guys think it's gonna hold up or it's gonna stay down? I mean, it's still kind of in a wedge, right? It still has like a big range to go back and forth between, so I guess can't really complain there. Have I seen Larissa's price? No, I'm just not interested in that project, to be honest. Crypto KJ, I know you guys are, and I like that you can make money on it, but it's like, man, I'd rather just buy the coin and dump it if I was going to do it. But yeah, I haven't looked at it, to be honest. We have the Ice River KS5L 12 terahash unit making $44 a day. Did I even finish the AL box here? Making $47 a day. This is actually, I'm still shocked this is making that much money, and it's still holding up here in the third place. Not too bad. All right, the BMKS5, sorry, KS Max, man, I can't talk today. What is going on? BMKS Max 11 terahash unit making $38.25 a day. We got the Windminer K9 10.3 terahash unit making $37.61. Man, I think Panda just opened this one yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, on his video, and they actually they fixed the bus bar issue, the cover, so you're not just gonna like completely kill yourself when you touch it. Oh, it was so terrible how they had those things like exposed before. Probably only took like 10 people dying for them to fix it. Ice River KS3 8 terahash unit making $27.68 a day. We have, let's see, the X16P is actually above the KS3M at $24.09 a day. This unit's awesome, to be honest, for what it is, but it's too expensive. That's my opinion. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about it. KS3M 6 terahash unit making $18.36. All right, looking at my L7, got it down to Terra Hosting. Shout out to them. We got the 9050 version. I'm still making $14.18 a day. That's so awesome for a friggin' 3-year-old plus unit. It's crazy. I mean, mine personally is like a year and a half, but just in general, the L7 came out like 3.5 years ago. It's crazy. We have the KS2 2 terahash unit. Oh, I'm making $5.96 a day. Bruh. That's terrible. That's terrible. That Jazz Miner should be 5K. Yeah, it really should be, to be honest. This one right here, X16P. Yeah, it should be about 5K. Yeah, they want too much for it. It is what it is. It sucks, but whatever. What are you gonna do? Let's see the X4Q. You know what? I think I'm gonna get my unit up in mining on some Octaspace, making 1.68 Octa a day, $2.11. Actually, you know what? I don't know if that'll even be profitable at my rate. I might have to throw this thing on solar. I guess we'll have to see, depending. Because actually the KS0s, you guys know I have the KS0 Pros right here making 65 cents a day. This is a 200 gigahash unit. They only pull about 90 or so watts, maybe a little less. But yeah, these things are actually still profitable at my electric rate. So I might plug these into the grid and throw my Jazz miners like the X16 and the X4Q on solar. Yeah, the X16 is making $8.14 a day. I'm still making like $5 a day even at my electric rate. So I actually got it right here heating my studio for right now because it's actually chilly in this area. Obviously, being in the basement, it's cold. Doughboy, what's up, man? Good morning. All right, let's see. Where's my S19K? Oh God, where is it? Oh no. 64 cents. Actually, that's better than yesterday, wasn't it? I think it was like $1, if I'm not mistaken, yesterday, like negative $1. But anyways, S19K 120 terahash unit mining Bitcoin is losing 64 cents a day. Bruh. That's terrible. Absolutely terrible. But you guys know, we click into this and we change the electric rate. Really? All right, there we go. Change the electric rate, literally 1 penny, and the profitability will not change apparently. There we go. It's profitable at 9 cents by 2 cents. 8 cents, 68 cents, like literally the smallest increment on electrical prices change the profitability on this unit like crazy. But 10 cents per kilowatt hour, I'm definitely losing money. That's a big oof. Big oof. All right, let's see. You know what, Bugna, to be honest, this is whattomine.com if you guys don't know. I like the fact that they have the top 3 coins for revenue and profits. It's pretty nice, not gonna lie. It's kind of weird that Bugna is still on the top of the charts here for the Caspa miners ASICs. Strange. All right, moving on to GPUs. Let's see, what do we got? We have a negative 3% difficulty coming to BTC tomorrow though. Why is that, Crypto Craig? Educate me please, sir. All right, let's see. The 4090 RTX 4090 is on Nexa. Wow, Nexa. How's Nexa doing? Is it pumping? Must be. Oh, you know what? I heard some news about this. Nexa, if I'm not mistaken, is getting a tier 1 listing. Am I wrong on that? Did anybody else hear this? Did anybody else hear this? Please let me know in the chat if I'm correct. I think they're getting a good listing or a decent listing. I don't know if it's gonna be a tier 1. I thought that's what I heard, but I don't know. I guess we'll have to see. But Nexa's top of the charts right now of profitability. 4090. Not heard that. Who? Yeah, go, please go check for me, Crypto KJ, if you have a second to dig into it. I didn't. Somebody DM me this morning and told me that. And to see it on the top of the charts here, it kind of makes sense. So I don't know. 4080. We have this is Cortex. We have Ironfish and Pyron still top of the charts. Ironfish for the 170HX. We have the 4080 Super with Nexa, Ironfish and Pyron. 4070 Ti Nexa. Literally Nexa's on like all the top cards. 7900 XTX got Ironfish and Graham. We got 3080 Ti, Cortex and Ironfish and Pyron. Ravencoin in the 6800 XT and Chlor, also Ironfish and Graham. Nice. You guys got a bunch of stuff to pick from today. Bunch of stuff. Let's see. Scrolling down. Grin on the 6950 XT. Let's see. I forgot to say good morning and give you a coffee. Thanks, bro. Thanks for the coffee. Let's see. Mr. Patrick Murphy dropped a link in the chat. Oh God, what is this? Let's see. May 5th. Oh wow. All right, tier 1 exchange listing for Nexa. It's on May 5th. It's 2 days later. Does it tell you which one though? What's BUIP? What's that? Bitcoin Unlimited membership approval. I'm not into Nexa to be honest, so I don't know. I don't know much about it. But what tier 1 are they going for? They didn't say. This exchange listing will cement the momentum, parallel marketing strategy in place. It doesn't say anything about which Mentions Caspa though, and also helped drive Nexa on a ranking trajectory mirroring other successful coins such as Caspa. Look at that, even being recognized by Nexa. Interesting though. Weird. I wonder what's gonna happen here. So hey, listen, if you guys have Nexa, get ready to sell it. Just my opinion. Love you all, that's what I'm telling you. Anyways, I got like 1 million of it. I might dump it, we'll see. I gotta put it to an exchange though, because it's definitely still in my wallet somewhere, who knows where. Anyways, let's see if we have any new coins here on the list, and we do. Consensus coin, what is that? Carlson hash, 9 days ago. What in the hell? That wasn't there yesterday, son of a bitch. Quest chain, yes power. What the hell is yes power? What is yes power? Yes power. Has anybody heard of yes power? I mean, I'm sure you OGs have, but I haven't. Yes power, what the hell is that? Weird. I don't know what any of these coins are, so please, if you're gonna go and try to mine new coins, be careful. You can get viruses if you get off the site. All right. Old CPU algo, interesting. Not a real big CPU miner, so that makes sense. Makes sense. I've never heard of it. Nice. Okay. And then this consensus coin. CSS. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Carlson hash. I guess we're gonna have to see what happens with this one. But man, these Caspa forks. You know what? So it's really interesting, right? Like when we had Ethereum, okay, there was a bunch of Ethereum forks, and that makes sense, right? Like that's what carried. I guess like it was, you know, it made a bunch of new projects and it carried miners throughout, you know, the time that we were mining, right? We're mining Ethereum and all these other forks of Ethereum to some extent, right? So it makes sense that a bunch of forks are being made of Caspa, right? Or Carlson hash or Pyron hash or things along those lines. It does. It makes sense. I mean, most of them are probably not going to make it, but I guess we're going to have to see. Who knows at the end of the day, honestly. All right, events calendar. Let's see. What do we got over here? This would open. Kevacoin, 5 days from now, 500 to 250 block reward. Pyron is going through a fifthening, 17 to 14 in 14 days. In Ethereum Classic, 2.56 to 2.048 in 23 days. That's coming up quick. Octaspace just went through their fifthening 15 days ago, and Octaspace has been doing fantastic, actually. I noticed my bag's been going up. It's down 5.2% today, but look at the 7 day. It's literally just, it's went up 70 cents or so, just about, roughly. Check out a month ago. Yeah, about 70 cents from a month ago. So Octaspace is doing well. It's a deep in project, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's kind of like a storage and space, hence the name Octaspace. All right, guys, if you're interested in Tangent, go check it out. CCXD for 10% off. Let's get into the news. I want actually, you know, let's see. Did Gary Gensler come on yet? Come on. No, not yet. I want to show you guys this then. Look at this. So he's supposed to be on. He's already supposed to be on, or have been on, tomorrow morning, 8:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'll be on CNBC with Andrew Sorkin. Live footage of Gary Gensler. Like, dude, if you guys go through this list of just everything that's all the comments, it's a riot. Like, this is live footage of Gary Gensler on CNBC. It's so funny. You should be in jail, says Rand Nooner. Crypto Rand shows a picture of Gary behind bars. Dude, like, everybody's ripping this dude apart. Worst SEC chair in history. Dude, it's so funny. If you go through and read these, I liked a bunch of them. You're disappointing, like a real cringy scumbag type disappointment. Like, dude, it's so bad. It's so bad. People just rip this guy apart. Like, why do you even have a Twitter? I don't understand it. You're just literally gonna get lit up. But I do want to see when this comes out, so I'm gonna keep refreshing this as we go throughout the morning here. We have a couple news clips I'm gonna watch, and then I'll refresh it after that. So let's see what Funstrat's Tom Lee said. Inflation is going to cool pretty dramatically in the second half of 2024. Guys, that like button, appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it.
Our next guest feels investors are still too cautious, but he thinks that the fear of May, or the sell in May and go away, will turn into buy in May. Tom Lee is managing partner, head of research at Fundstrat Global Advisors, as well as a CNBC contributor. We'll never forget the call that you made, and it was one of many pretty good calls. But It was what the S&P was going to do near term based on inflation not being as bad as what was built into the market. And I think you're kind of returning to that theme. And I'd like to know why you think that. What do you know about inflation that the market doesn't seem to understand right now? You don't think...
Real quick before Tom talks, Crypto KJ said, rumor is KuCoin for Nexa. Interesting. So if anybody's got KuCoin, there you go. You pay attention to it. And Crypto McKell, I'm glad you're okay from those the storms, man. That's crazy.
We need to be as hawkish as we are.
Yes. A lot of it has to do with why CPI has remained stubbornly high. Powell talked about it, that there's this residual lag associated with housing. So even though home prices are stabilizing and rents are actually getting back to sort of traditional rates of growth, it's still reported in CPI at close to 6%. And then the second piece is auto insurance, is what Powell calls non-housing services. Auto insurance is rising at 21%. Now, a lot of that's because auto insurance rates are actually jumping, but that's not going to keep going 20% forever. Once that starts to normalize, then you can think about what median inflation is, which is running at 1.8%. So I think inflation's going to sort of cool pretty dramatically. I don't know when, but it'll be sometime in the second half of this year.
I think...
Real quick, yeah, KuCoin. Is KuCoin technically a tier 1 exchange? I would maybe assume it is. I'm not sure. I've never used KuCoin. I don't know if it actually is considered a tier 1. Let me know.
Maybe a couple months ago, you weren't quite as bullish. I'm not sure what your reason, but you came on and said it might be tougher going. And we did have a series of inflation numbers that were hotter than people thought.
Yes.
Did we not?
We did. I mean, yes.
Yeah, and that you think that's not going to be the case as much from here?
That's right. I think going forward, a couple of things are better. One is like this job market isn't so red hot anymore. So I think the Fed's not on its heels as much about, inflation could fall. And then I think that the things I mentioned, housing and auto insurance, are going to start to cool. So inflation prints start to look better. And we know that we had a big reset in April. So I think it looks pretty good for now.
You must agree, I guess, that the Fed right now is in restrictive territory, because I've been amazed at how the default position for Jay Powell has been for weeks and months that we need to cut eventually. He never even, it seems like the idea of hiking has never even crossed his mind, and he took it off the table again last week, basically. But it's weird to me, with the economy as strong as it was and inflation as sticky as it was, I don't know why that was his default position. I don't know why he just wasn't more asymmetric or symmetric. I don't know why he just didn't say the risks were symmetric both ways. He seems so sure. He's jonesing to cut rates. He really wants to, and the market believes him. And every time he says it, the market rallies and gets ahead of itself.
Yes. I mean, my sort of guess is I don't think the Fed's that comfortable with long-term rates at these levels. It is quite high, and as you know, it's putting a lot of pressure on regional banking. I mean, it's really hurting their balance sheet. The cost of money is quite high, especially relative to the rest of the world.
And you think we are restrictive?
Yeah, I think it's quite restrictive, yeah.
You do. And you notice whenever we return to, okay, we're still doing cuts, and then Bitcoin goes. That's all it takes, right? The minute it looks like the printing presses are going back on, it goes. So you're still bullish. It's back to, I don't know, it was 50. I think it was at 57. It's back to 65 before you can blink. That's
right. I mean, Bitcoin's still, we think, early in an upcycle. So the idea that it could get to like 150,000 this year is still, within our base case. And
150,000 in 2024 is your base case. Okay. All right, go on. I didn't need it. Yeah.
Perfect.
And
go on. Go on.
Yeah, go on. Don't stop.
Yeah. I think it does help that the Fed is reiterating that its view on the inflation and its being relatively dovish is more dovish than where the market is. So I think that's the process of why markets are recovering.
Because I know what.
Yeah, did you guys hear that? Like clearly, like there was a lot of hesitation there. Let me rewind that.
We think early in an upcycle, so the idea that it could get to like 150,000 this year is still, within our base case. And
150,000 in 2024 as your base case.
Wow, he's saying in 2024, so the end of this year. That's a ballsy prediction. What do you guys think?
All right, go on.
Look at the hesitation.
And, you know,
Go on. Go on.
Yeah, go on. No, stop. Don't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it does help that the Fed is reiterating that its view on the inflation and it's being relatively dovish is more dovish than where the market is. So I think that's the process of why markets are recovering.
Because I know when they told me wrap it up, and how people always get mad on. You say you're going to come on Twitter, and everybody gets excited, and then you're never on long enough for these people on Twitter. So I pay attention.
Mr. Pellish Miner, dude, thank you so much for the super chat. $7 super chat. Such a random number, but I appreciate it. He said, "Good morning, everyone. Sorry to hijack the stream. Catch Hawk crypto mining today at noon on Newsmax. Not a joke. Stay safe and hodl." Yes, I heard he was going to be on there later on today, so I guess we'll try to show that tomorrow, actually, if you guys don't catch it live.
Can I just ask one more?
Yeah, please.
And it has to do actually with what I saw when I was in Omaha this weekend with Becky. You know, one of the things Warren did was he trims this Apple piece. And I think underneath a lot of the language that he spoke about for 5 hours, there was some anxiousness about the overall economy. You don't have that anxiousness. He's in there, has this massive portfolio, sees everything. What do you think of that?
I think it's noon Eastern time, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. I can find out from Hawk and let you guys know in the VIP. But fear of May to become buy in May. That's interesting.
I understand where he's coming from. I think if someone said, what are they anxious about? It is the fiscal deficit, the size of the deficit.
I'm not even sure he's anxious about that, though. I mean, he's anxious about the long term, but he was even asked about that, and that was not his issue. I think his issue was fundamentally, I don't want to put words in his mouth because he didn't say it. There's a lot of tea leaf reading, but just about the strength of where the market is right now and whether it's potentially overpriced.
Well, you know, he's steering a huge ship. So, you know, he has to think in, you know, longer term. But to us, earnings growth is accelerating. You know, Q1 earnings are up 7%, but, you know, 3 groups are down 20%. You know, energy, healthcare, materials. Those energy and healthcare flip to positive next quarter, so earnings growth hits 11%. We know there's a lot of pent-up demand. Capital spending is picking up, and the ISMs are turning up, and there's $6 trillion of cash on the sidelines, and people have been cautious for more than 2 years now. So I think the risk-reward's still pretty good. You know, I don't know if maybe Warren's lens is more 10 years out, and that's when you can be cautious, but I think the next year looks good.
Interesting. Shout out to Tom Lee. Again, I'm going to try to catch Mr. Gary Gensler on CNBC this morning, but they have not uploaded that video yet. So I'm going to keep an eye on that on the side. All right, SEC Wells notice to SEC Wells notice to SEC is no reason to be worried, says analysis. Let's see what they got to say over here on Yahoo Finance. Guys, the like button. Appreciate you for hanging out. Let's do it. And hold on. First off, Chris Hanley, where in the hell is it snowing today on May 7th? Colorado? You live in, well, yeah, obviously it snows every day in Colorado, doesn't it? I thought you were like somewhere around me. It was like, dude, it's like 80 today. What do you mean?
Robinhood has said it's received an SEC warning that the trading platform could face an enforcement action related to its U.S. crypto business. Shares are lower right now, although they've been bouncing around, but there are some concerns. And one analyst, though, says the news may be a little overblown. That analyst is Dan Dolev, Mizuho America's senior financial technology analyst. Dan, it's good to see you. As I mentioned, the share...
God, this guy's such a dink. He really is.
Shares been bouncing around here. Now, typically, news comes out about what's called a Wells notice from the Securities and Exchange Commission, and a stock goes down because it's usually seen as bad news. Now, the stock was higher earlier. Now it's lower. But why should people not be alarmed in your view?
Hey, thanks for having me. You know, typically, yes, not in crypto. In crypto, everything is different.
They're used to it.
We're used to it, exactly. Good news is bad news. No, but to be, you know, the reason the stock is actually not going down and the reason we say there's no reason to be worried is because this is not new news. As far back as 2 years ago, if you go back to their 10K, the annual report, they've said that they've been subpoenaed by the SEC for some of these issues. So basically, the SEC has decided to take action on something that they've been calling out like 2 years ago. So this has been in the making. If you look at the exposure of Robinhood to crypto, it's only like 7% of revenue and like 15% of assets under custody. And, you know, those tokens, I mean, ex Bitcoin, ex Ether, ex Dogecoin, I mean, the exposure is very minimal. And last, you know, the reaction on Coinbase, I mean, Coinbase tripled since the Wells notice last year. So, you know, the market clearly, you know, is shrugging it off, so to say. So we're saying there's no real reason to be worried.
And Dan, do you have a sense of sort of timeline here? What happens next?
Look, I'm not a a legal expert, but from looking at some of the other stuff around there, like Kraken and some of the other exchanges, I think that at worst case scenario, it's probably, again, this is just speaking as a layman, it's because it looks like it's not new news, and I'm looking at some prior cases. There could be like some sort of like a settlement or something. I don't see this as being, and the market's clearly agreeing with that. So timeline, you know, this could take a little while, but I think the results, the fundamentals of Robinhood are so good that I think this is going to remain as a little bug bite, not more than that.
When you look at a situation like that with Coinbase, which has a much more combative, or sort of at least publicly combative, relationship with the SEC and with regulators, do you think Robinhood has sort of had the advantage of sort of almost drafting behind Coinbase to some extent, right? Let Coinbase fight the fight, and we'll kind of do our own thing here. So in that sense, also, is the Wells notice more of a sort of unexpected?
It's actually a great point that you're making, because they've been the good guy. Robinhood has been the good guy, and I think they, you know, voluntarily since day one agreed to, you know, not playing those, let's say, riskier tokens, right, that could be considered securities, and said we're staying in the, you know, things that are considered commodities, like, you know, Bitcoin or Dogecoin, whatever the SEC does not think is like a big risk. So I actually think that not fighting the SEC and being the good guy is going to...
Is it just me, or is that amazing that these said Dogecoin is not a big risk and it's a meme coin?
Help Robinhood in the long term and not fighting it like Coinbase does.
And Dan, for Robinhood, earnings are on deck here Wednesday. What do you expect to hear?
So we think it's going to be a stellar quarter. We just published our preview today, just coincidence, like we didn't know this was coming, obviously. But I think consensus is, you know, grossly understating revenues. There's going to be a, massive, significant beat to revenues and margin. The best news you're going to hear, again, in my view, is you're going to hear a lot more MAUs, monthly average users, coming out of Europe, because this is kind of the surprise element, the traction they're getting in Europe, and all the success they're having in this Robinhood Gold, which is deposits coming in, gaining share from the likes of Schwab in terms of assets coming in from people because they're offering 3% match on your IRA. So a lot of these good things, they're going to start gaining scale this quarter, and it's going to be a phenomenal quarter with great guidance for the year.
Dan,
all right, so more or less, Gensler's going to be stomped on. Let's see what Crypto World CNBC television has to say over here. Again, I'm still updating this CNBC thing off to the side. I want to see if Gensler gets on here. Hopefully we can watch that before we get into the videos, but if not, we'll watch it at the end. Robinhood discloses SEC letter warning of potential enforcement actions. Let's see what they got to say over here on CNBC television. Let's do it.
Today, Bitcoin dips after climbing to $64,000 over the weekend. Robinhood says the SEC could be preparing enforcement actions against its crypto business. And Chris Klein of Bitcoin IRA breaks down the macroeconomic environment's impact on crypto markets.
Deadly Wolf, I have not overclocked any of my KR0s.
Welcome to CNBC's Crypto World. I'm Tanea McKeel. Bitcoin dipped into the red to start the week, but that's after it climbed up to the $64,000 level over the weekend. By noon Eastern today, Bitcoin had fallen back to $63,000. Ether also down this morning to just under $3,100, but Solana is up, trading at $153. Okay, let's talk about the top stories. Robinhood says it could be preparing for potential enforcement action by the SEC. The investing platform said in a filing today that it received a Wells notice from the regulator over the weekend, which said it made a preliminary determination that Robinhood could face potential enforcement action over its crypto business. Robinhood's chief legal, compliance, and corporate affairs officer said the company believes its listed assets are not securities in a blog posted today, and that the company looks forward to engaging with the SEC to make clear just how weak any case against Robinhood Crypto would be on both the facts and the law. The Post also said Robinhood Crypto doesn't list tokens or provide products that the SEC alleged are securities in past enforcement actions.
And that's very true.
In February, Robinhood disclosed that it received
lose
subpoenas from the SEC
again
regarding its crypto operations. Shares of the stock were up 1% as of noon Eastern. The company is also due to report its earnings this Wednesday.
Like, how is there no like 3 strikes you're out thing for like the SEC chair, aka Gensler? How is there nothing to like say like, hey, listen, bro, we need somebody new in here that's actually running the ship, because you clearly keep hitting icebergs. And it's never gonna, like, you're never gonna get your point across with all these Wells notices and all this other bullshit. It just makes no sense to me how he's still ahead of the chair. I don't get it.
Next, federal prosecutors have accused former
SEC,
executives of crypto lender Cred of defrauding customers. In a press release on Friday, the Northern District of California announced a grand jury charged Cred's former CEO, CFO, and CCO with conspiracy, wire fraud, and more. Prosecutors allege that the executives caused losses of customer cryptocurrency assets that could have a value exceeding $780 million.
Oh, that's a good point. I believe only the president can remove Gensler. Well, someone's gonna wake Joe up. Could somebody please wake Joe up and get Gensler the fuck out of here? Please.
Cred was a service that claimed to pay out high yields for customer deposits, but it filed for bankruptcy protection in 2020.
It's insane.
All right, going back to markets for our main story, I spoke to Chris Klein, co-founder of Bitcoin IRA, about Bitcoin's price action over the weekend and how the macroeconomic environment is driving crypto prices.
I totally forgot.
Let's talk about the price action to start. Bitcoin, a little bit in the red today after, kind of a big increase over, not a big increase, but a nice increase back to the $64,000 level over the weekend. So what do you make of the way we're starting the week now?
It's these dips and swings are kind of expected in a post-halving environment. It's been seen in prior cycles before. The difference I think that we're seeing with this one that's causing a little bit more unexpected results is we have this new cohort of ETFs that are involved. They weren't here for the last cycle like this. And when you get ETFs, it's awesome, right? You get more mainstream adoption, easier accessibility. You also get a greater percentage of first-time Bitcoin investors. And these folks have to get used to things like what is a halving, the constant volatility, the stream of salacious headlines that we see out there, and always the claim that if it goes down 10%, Bitcoin is dead. So they have to get comfortable with these realities and this ongoing cycle. You see it also happening with Sunday afternoons. Big pickup in the crypto markets in Sunday afternoons, about 3 or 4 of the last 5 or 6 weekends. And then there's a cool off on Mondays. So that's probably what we're seeing here today.
So if we have these 2 big catalysts, we've been talking about them for months, the halving and the launch of the ETFs earlier this year. Those are behind us now. So what is driving things, in the medium term? Is it the macro environment, and what are you expecting from the price action going forward? Is it, kind of the chop that we've been seeing, or is there something that you are focused on as you watch the prices?
Well, nobody can deny that there's a summer solstice with all investment vehicles. At the macro level, we are in an election year, so that's going to have a different cycle to it than traditional summers. You see some downward pressure already happening. There's always been that sell in May, go away mentality, but it's not necessarily true when you have assets that are trading 24/7 these days. One great thing, and I think that we're going to chase these accomplishments, Bitcoin achieved the 1 billionth transaction this weekend. Probably didn't have a lot to do with price moves, but it's a milestone in the network, and it's an exciting time.
That's great.
Why? Wait, let me pause you there.
Oh God, her voice just like blew my eardrums. That's awesome.
What does that mean? We have so many new investors in this space over the last couple of years. So how should they see that? What should that mean to them?
Oh, well, just maturation of the market. It's starting to grow up. It's still a teenager, right? It's about 13, 14 years old, but now it's getting into the high school years and it's starting to figure out itself, and it's growing. And you're going to have more of these transaction and milestones that happen. I was joking with the person that told me the billionth dollar one today that I can't wait for the trillionth dollar one. And I'm sure we're going to wait a lot less time to get to that point as more mainstream adoption starts to come in. Institutions have to wait 90 days, like RIAs and some of these groups have to wait time periods to get fiduciary approval to add these assets. So even though they launched in January, we're just now starting to see some of these larger institutions be able to deploy these types of assets. So it should accelerate over time, but it just goes to show you when, I got into this game in 2016, 2015, and I was late to some of these guys that were early adopters that were buying pizza with Bitcoins, right? When we were early in the network transactions. To be at a billionth is just, it's something that you want to celebrate as a milestone as a network.
Some good news out of the Federal Reserve last week. I think that's how markets took it, with Jay Powell saying that the next move from the Fed is not likely to be a rate hike. What does that mean to you? You know, we talk about correlations a lot here. So does Bitcoin kind of participate in this risk on momentum? What does something like that, what Jay Powell said, mean for Bitcoin specifically? And, given the catalyst that we're coming off of now and this kind of, reset, wait and see moment that we're in, do you expect any more reaction?
Yeah, obviously, Bitcoin is not in a vacuum, so it exists amongst all these activities that are happening, and it has some correlation to these. It's like other major assets. There's this kind of buy the rumor, sell the fact of every one of these meetings and announcements. But I think that they are short-term distractions. The fundamentals really haven't changed. We're still kind of on a runaway train headed right towards the edge of a cliff, with things like debt, having to refinance, and pay interest on that debt increasing because of these rates just as a country. Think of it like our credit card, which Americans have pretty maxed out credit cards. It's the most recent report from Discover showed that. So macroeconomically, all these things are impacting Bitcoin. But what's happening, part of the reason why people love Bitcoin is its finite supply, and having reinforces that reality by constraining the supply over time based upon the reward. So at the time when that's happening, for the first time since June of 2022, the monetary supply production has gone back into the positive. So as crypto guys like to say, are they turning the printers back on? Most likely we might be headed in that direction. This is an election cycle, so a lot of things can happen up into that election and then for the first year after. But we're all not sitting in a vacuum, and Bitcoin exists in this space in a whole new way with these ETFs. So in general, it's a perfect storm for some exciting things to happen, and getting off zero is pretty critical for anybody that's looking at Bitcoin or crypto today.
It's been almost 6 months since the launch of the ETF. So to finish, I just want to get a sense from you what, of your connections in the RIA community, what has the feedback been so far on these ETFs? Because that was really a big selling point on the ETFs. We heard so much about how there was this great need by the advisor community because they had clients who were interested, or they themselves were interested in talking about it with clients, but they didn't really have a vehicle for it. So what has the feedback been so far?
Generally positive. Obviously, they have to get comfortable with the market too. They're more trained in the traditional asset types, so this is a new world for them. But at the end of the day, the markets are all better for it. There's access to something. There's untapped capital. This is a piece of that. Our platform is more focused on the individual retail outside of the RIA, but doing it within their retirement vehicle like an IRA, a Roth, SEP Simple. But in general, I think there's a positive sentiment, but there's a comfort level that's coming as we grow into it. And they have to, just like what there was a big kind of sell the rumor or buy the rumor, sell the fact happening with Hong Kong last week. There's a lag to these things. You don't just turn a switch on and all of a sudden everybody's buying ETFs. Market makers have to get into place. Approval with risk groups and compliance have to happen, and then inevitably you'll start seeing some more flows to them.
Okay, that's
Sweet.
all for
Shout out to CNBC Crypto World for that. All right, there's nothing here yet. Still no Gensler clip. Man, I wish I could get that live. It sucks. Anyways, all right, let's move on to the videos, and then we'll go back to that news. Hopefully that pops up while we're watching this. Bitcoin hodlers can't believe this is happening. Let's see what flood this brings this morning. If you guys aren't subbed to Altcoin Daily, go check them out. Links in the description. Let's do it.
That's right. I mean, Bitcoin's still, we think, early in an upcycle. So the idea that it could get to like 150,000 this year is still, within our base case.
Fundstrat Global's Tom Lee doubling down that $150,000 per Bitcoin is still his base case.
If anybody can find that Gary Gensler CNBC link, please let me know. I'm going to start Googling it right now, see if I can find it.
This year.
150,000 in 2024.
Yeah.
Your base case. Okay. All right, go on.
And with Bitcoin making history, having officially processed over 1 billion transactions all time, what is the reasoning that Bitcoin could still hit these levels? Go on, Tom.
All right, go on. I didn't need to,
and you know,
Go on. Go on.
Yeah, go on. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Yeah.
And watch today's whole video. There's a Bitcoin chart you need to see, as well as top altcoins making news. But where does Bitcoin stand today?
One of the most interesting data points is that GBTC, the world's largest Bitcoin fund, saw
I might have found it.
78 straight days of outflows once the ETFs got approved. On Friday, it had the first day of inflows, about $63 million.
And that's true. As we explained in yesterday's video, Grayscale's Bitcoin ETF is no longer selling. They're buying, at least for one day. Meaning that for the first time all year, every single spot Bitcoin ETF had inflows last Friday. Grayscale even ranked number 2 behind Fidelity. And what that means, according to Bloomberg's senior ETF analyst, Eric Balchunas, not going to spike the football like some did during the outflow period, but we'll point out that this means over 95% of the ETF investors hodled during what was a pretty nasty and persistent downturn. Meaning the institutions were not scared. They chose to hodl and even accumulate during the dip.
And so that doesn't mean that all of the selling is gone, but for 78 straight days, people were taking money out of that fund. And on Friday, they decided to start putting it back. We see the price rally.
So what do you think that says about the overall scheme with Bitcoin and, more importantly, the ETF world?
Will the same happen next time? Who knows? But track record says it will be pretty high percent again. Of course, as we've said, outflows will happen, so will inflows. But over time, 2 things tend to be true for ETFs: net growth and relatively strong hands.
Yeah, so whenever you see the ETFs get approved, right, I think everyone was like, oh, these institutions are just waiting to pour capital in. It takes time. They've got to go to their investment committees. They've got to talk to their clients. They've got to go through their processes. And, you know, fortunately or unfortunately, some of them are bureaucratic, and it's going to take some time. And so now we're starting to see these flows that are persistent that I think people are really excited about. Another data point that's really important is that Bitcoin, although it is volatile day to day, the 200-day moving average just hit an all-time high, just crossed over $50,000 for the first time. And so over the long run, Bitcoin continues to kind of trend upwards.
So moving averages are good for spotting trends in the market. Typically in bull markets, we ride above the 200-day MA. And in the bear markets, we drop below, get rejected off of, meaning that for the first time since 2022, Bitcoin's 200-day moving average has hit an all-time high. And that means day to day, yes, we go up and down, but as long as we're above $50,000, this 200 MA, we are still in a bull market, i.e. any dips are made to be bought.
I think it does help that the Fed is reiterating that its view on the inflation and it's being relatively dovish is more dovish than where the market is. So I think that's the process of why markets are recovering.
Now let's talk altcoin news, but I do have to show you this. Probably the most reliable indicator that we've seen to spot local Bitcoin lows throughout this cycle. And this is Bitcoin's short-term holder SOPR, S-O-P-R, which is a Bitcoin indicator tracked by Glassnode, which takes into account only spent outputs younger than 155 days, meaning new Bitcoiners and whether they're still hodling or they've sold out. This serves as an indicator to assess the behavior of short-term investors, because we know what long-term investors tend to do. Long-term investors tend to hold, but short-term investors, they can get scared out of the market quicker. So in this last price dip, what happened? Well, short-term holders essentially capitulated and took significant losses during the last Bitcoin dip. This tends to be a fairly reliable signal for a short-term tactical bottom. In fact, last time we saw short-term hodlers act like this was back in March of 2023. Bitcoin virtually only went up since March of last year. Yet, in this breaking news, the SEC is still cracking down on crypto. Robinhood Crypto gets a Wells notice from the US SEC. A Wells notice typically comes before a full-on lawsuit, and it received this enforcement action notice from the US SEC on May 4th, so they got this a few days ago, over crypto tokens traded on their platform. So just because they list cryptos, they give their users access to crypto, the SEC is coming after them, meaning the SEC is now suing Kraken, Coinbase, Uniswap, MetaMask, and now Robinhood for the crime of helping regular Americans access crypto.
That's insane. So they're still going through the Kraken thing? I thought that was just like, oh yeah, that's right. They settled for like what was it? It was like $3 million or something. And then they still sued them again after that. And Uniswap was like a couple weeks ago. I totally forgot about that. MetaMask, and man, that's crazy. They're going after a bunch of people now. That's nuts.
And ask yourself this. Why is the SEC
Thank you, Patrick Murphy.
suing everyone alive for the exact same unproven legal theory? They haven't won a single case. Why not wait to win a case instead of launching 5 at once? Because
dude, how did you find that, Patrick Murphy? I guess it was posted 4 minutes ago, so good on you.
Winning a case
Thank you. We'll play it after.
Gary wins by creating a chilling effect in the US for crypto. And even with just Ethereum and the SEC, many investors don't have answers.
They're going to play us out. But real quick, Ethereum, this lawsuit that effectively accuses the SEC of considering it a security and then sort of bait and switching everybody. What do you think of that? And what do you think long-term means?
The United States of America has an amazing court system, and we've seen over and over again the SEC and multiple players go to court. They argue it out. Sometimes the SEC wins, sometimes they don't. I think the judges will figure it out.
That's very political. He's not giving us a side here.
I don't know what the answer is. I don't think most people do.
Thank you,
Nobody
Anthony.
does.
Yet, looking at what investors are doing, ETH scarcity is intensifying. Ethereum held on centralized exchanges is increasingly getting scarcer than Bitcoin. So Ethereum is being pulled off of exchanges. ETH held on sexes like Binance or Coinbase has drastically dropped from about 16% in March of 2023 to 10.66% by May 24. In comparison, BTC's reduction is less stark, still moving down, but moving from around 13% to now 11.85% in the same period. So it's assumed that if you're taking your coins off of exchanges, you're not interested in selling, you're interested in hodling. You would put them onto exchanges if you're interested in selling. We also have breaking news from SWI. SWI outperforms Solana in transactions while offering lower fees. So great little advertisement, but to me, the point is transactions per day, SWI is now passing Solana, meaning more transactions are happening on SWI. And growth milestone announcement for zk-Link. This is an aggregated rollup unifying all of Ethereum's L2s. And the news today is this: proud to announce that zk-Link Nova has achieved a new milestone of over $500 million in
You never heard of Sui, Alphamine? Really?
TVL across 436,000 unique wallet addresses, meaning people are using this. This is now the largest aggregated L3 network.
In all fairness, it's too hard to keep track of all this shit. All right. Yeah, I feel like he's just gonna shill shit. So we're gonna stop this video here. We're gonna play the Gary Gensler bullshit because I want to see what goes on here. I don't know if we have to listen to an ad. Let's see. Yeah, we do. All right, we're gonna mute this. 14 seconds. I'm gonna big face it. Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. This shout out to Patrick Murphy. I could not find this on the site. I don't know how the hell you found it. But this is what I was talking about, actually, Patrick. These drop downs. I was going through these trying to figure it out.
In Washington for an exclusive interview is SEC Chair Gary Gensler, and we get to see each other in person this morning. It's nice
to see you, Andrew.
So one of the things I wanted to ask you is when you look at the headlines today around what the SEC is doing and what your priorities are, it's hard to...
All right, this was this morning for anybody just joining. This is the BS going on with Gensler and the whole Robinhood thing, I'm assuming.
To tell how much of your focus today is on the stock market writ large versus the world of crypto and trying to figure out the future of Ethereum and other things. How do you see it?
Look at this stupid face.
I see it this way. We oversee a $110 trillion capital market. About half of that's the stock market, half, as you might know, is the bond markets and other markets. Crypto is a small piece of our overall markets.
Why didn't they bring Joe on this one? I want Joe in the middle Because he brings the excitement to this conversation.
And but it's an outsized piece of the scams and frauds and problems in our markets, because without prejudging any one token, much of this field is non-compliant with the protections of our securities laws. And so thus you end up with like an outsized ratio of journalist questions and crypto journalists to market cap.
But is that a function also of the fact that that's where your attention is too?
No, it's a function of where your attention is. Think about it. I've been on your show, what, a dozen times? And every show you ask about crypto. And my guessing is this will be a majority crypto interview, while the capital markets are 110 trillion. So it's also about where the financial media is focused.
Well, I want to ask you actually about a whole bunch of things in the classic stock market.
I'm looking forward to it.
But let me ask you this. Vlad Tenev, Robinhood, you delivered a Wells notice to them. I know that you're not going to want to speak directly to them, but I do want to read you, because what's interesting is literally just yesterday he put out a statement effectively attacking you and the SEC. Brian Armstrong from Coinbase said effectively, welcome to the club. I mean, all of this goes on to Twitter.
So that the listeners, the American public can understand, we have a really important responsibility as being a cop on the beat and ensuring that people that are asking you to put your money in to buy or sell securities are following the law, so you get disclosures, that you get certain protections. And we have live in-court litigation with at least one of those companies, Coinbase, in front of judges at this point in time.
What is the state of play, though, with Robinhood, to the extent that you can discuss it? And for those investors out there who are watching this morning who might have money at Robinhood, what are they supposed to think about these news reports?
Look, I can't speak to any one company, but stepping back from it, the field of crypto assets, without prejudging any one of them, many of those tokens are securities under the law of the land as interpreted by the U.S. Supreme Court. So we follow that law. And you, the investors, are not getting the required or needed disclosures about those assets. And so, like, this is earnings seasons right now, Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's asking about what's the earnings release and how many companies are beating earnings or falling behind and so forth. Where is the disclosures from these crypto tokens similar to these season of earnings releases?
Well, let me ask you this. Ultimately, and I think this is the big question in crypto land right now, is Ethereum a commodity or is Ethereum a security? And therefore, will there one day be an ETF? That's the fundamental question on the table in crypto land. You agree?
Oh, you're the one that's out there asking the questions. All I would say is, to me, the fundamental question is how do we ensure that the American investor is protected? And right now, they're not getting the required or needed disclosures. And the intermediaries in the center of this rather centralized market generally are conflicted and doing things we would never allow the New York Stock Exchange to do. The New York Stock Exchange is not allowed to trade against the investors.
Okay, but let me ask you about this. You've seen the consensus lawsuit, and I know you have a Wells notice with them as well. This is Patrick Henry saying the following, and I want you to respond to it. Just months after a federal judge sanctioned SEC enforcement lawyers for lying in court, new evidence shows that Chair Gary Gensler himself misled Congress. The testimony to the Financial Services Committee last April, Chair Gensler refused to answer questions about the SEC's classification of Ether, and new court filings show this was an intentional attempt to misrepresent the Commission's position.
We speak to Congress directly in hearings like that and also directly to members, and we share with them accurately what we're doing. So
he's like, in his head right now, he's like, shit, this just went sideways.
the viewers can also understand we don't speak about whether we have an investigation or whether we don't have an investigation, and we don't speak about whether somebody is, in our opinion, not following the law unless we actually bring a case. So we stay quiet on many questions that you might ask at this live interview or even
but ultimately,
in
should investors,
a congressional hearing.
There's a lot of folks who bought Ethereum expecting that one day there will be potentially an ETF and that it will be considered a genuine security that's tradable on these exchanges. Will that happen?
Again, that's something in front of our commission right now. We're a 5-member commission, and those filings will take up at the appropriate time.
Is that something from a timing perspective, though? This is an election year. This administration may be the administration come next year. It may not be the administration. How does that impact the work you're doing?
I'm just focused on how we can do the most for 330 million Americans, what we can do to drive efficiency, resiliency, competition in the equity markets, the treasury markets, the fixed income markets, and yes, also addressing some of the activity in the crypto markets where actors are not uniformly following the law. They just, there's a lot of people have lost their hard-earned funds in the field that you seem to be so fascinated by.
I'm going to go to something else that people are fascinated by that's not crypto that I think you can talk about because the case is closed.
Wait, why are we here if we're not going to answer anything? Why are we here? This is so stupid. Like, answer the question.
Auditing firm for Trump Media, and we've been following Trump Media as a stock now, which of course former President Trump as the majority shareholder, was charged with, quote, massive fraud. This is the accounting firm, not the company itself.
BF Borchers.
Can you explain what the fraud was and to the extent that investors should be thinking about this?
Well, so we have a system here in the U.S. where if you want to raise money from the public, you have to get audited by a firm to check the numbers, to make sure that the numbers are accurate. And there's auditing standards. This small firm, BF Borchers, that had well over 300 public company clients, audit clients, was very small and did not follow the standards, didn't follow the standards of having extra partners reviewing their files. They at times, as we put out in this settlement, had misled their clients about the actual work they were doing, even taking prior work and just copying and pasting into later work and the like. And so, yes, last week we settled, and those public companies, there was about 350 of them, their auditor chose to settle and not appear before the SEC again.
Let me ask you about Trump Media. A lot of folks have watched this stock move in ways that seem to defy at least historical conventions of the kind of metrics that we're all used to. As the head of the SEC, as somebody who's responsible for the integrity of the markets, what do you make of something like that?
So we're also paid to be merit neutral. Investors get to decide as long as they get the full, fair, and complete and truthful, I would say, information. They're not getting that in crypto.
Right. You think? You think they're not getting it in crypto? You genuinely think?
Genuinely think they're not getting that in crypto. And if they are a crypto security, it's required and needed. Public companies need to do that as well, but their auditor, the gatekeeper, matters. And this is a case where a gatekeeper failed those 350 companies and the investors on the other side of those companies.
Insane, dude. It's crazy how he just... Oh, God. Oh, God. Get out of here. It's crazy how he doesn't answer any of the questions. He just beats around the bush the entire time. Insane. That's just insane. I don't know. Drives me nuts. Anyways, all right. Recap segment of things. Let's see what you guys are we're looking like first. Over here, Bitcoin's in the gray. What is happening here? 63,605. Even from yesterday. Crazy. What'd you guys think about that whole little interview there? Let me see. He dances right past all the questions. Dude, like, why are you even here? What is the point of you being on live TV if you're not going to answer shit? I honestly, I'm not really a politics guy. I don't really care about everything, but like, man, Sleepy Joe needs to get the fuck out, and so does this guy. They both need to get out. I don't care who comes in. Just get out. Please. Please. It's terrible. Again, Bitcoin 63,607. We got Ethereum 3,074. Solana 155. We have XRP at 53 cents. Let's see. Caspa's still doing good. 11 cents, over 11 cents. Holding there. Render. Oh shit. What in the hell? $10.70. Didn't we just... Oh, damn. That was not like that first thing. Look at that. Hell yeah. Nice. Render's starting to pump up again. It's up 10% today. 10.1. Nice. If anybody's into render. Damn. Mad I didn't buy render. Big black. Gee, yeah, I know. Trust me, I get it. I get the feeling. I did buy some, but I get the feeling. Also, Caspa is up right now. Nice. Not too bad. 3.9%. Solana 2.5. Sand still down 2.1. Terrible. Terrible. Anyways, everything's looking pretty good. Again, flashbang, fear and greed index for anybody just joining. We're at a 68 over here. Again, be greedy when people are fearful and be fearful when people are greedy. Best way to live by. Let's see, render. Here we go. Render. Crazy. Look at that. Look at the 1 month. Look at this jump up, man. Yeah, I went down here. Yeah, I bought around $7 somewhere. I think it was like around here. And then it went up and down and whatever, but damn. It's doing pretty good, actually. Render's doing really well. Another leg up. Interesting. I wonder, you know what? Maybe I'll sell it today and I'll buy back in if it dips again. And then I won't be mad if it doesn't dip. 100 air. I'm not following what you're saying. A stock? Is that what you meant to say? Is looking like a stock? Is that what you're trying to say? Caspa's looking like a stock? I think. Hit that like button. Appreciate you, Mr. Patrick Murphy. Yeah, Caspa, to be honest, guys, like KRC 20 tokens, again, they're 10 blocks per second, right? 10 BPS. Rust protocol is happening in the works, right? Let's see. What is let me see. Caspa roadmap. Let's see. What is this? Oh, it doesn't Google it. What the hell? All right. Hold on. I'm gonna Google it over here then. Let me see. 1 second. Bear with me. That's what I was trying to get to. Clearly, it doesn't want to do that on Brave. It's just caspa.org. I forgot what it was. Let's see. Development. About. Where is the list? Where is the list? Actually, I'm gonna go back. Is it here? Oh, it is here. I'm just really zoomed in. It's throwing me off. All right, so we are testing. They're testing right now the Caspa Rust language coding. Then they're going to be upgrading the consensus, going to be doing all of this stuff. This is what I'm most excited for, the smart contract implementation. That is going to be huge on this platform, right? It's just digital contracts, basically. If you don't know what smart contracts are, it's you'd have to go in depth with it, but it's just a contract like between, you know, two people, but it's digital basically, right? And it can't be changed. But once that stuff's integrated, and then also again, KRC 20 tokens are going to be coming to the Caspa network, so that's going to be another big plus on Caspa. But again, this coin has never seen a bull run, so when we get to the actual bull run, right, things start popping off, you guys wait, just wait to see what happens. Like, think about it. This thing already has a $2.6 billion market cap. It's never seen a bull run. It's like less than 2 years old. Like, it's crazy how fast this thing has exploded. And also, it's gonna be mined out in our lifetime. Are we gonna be breaking out of this little descending wedge right here? I wish. It'd be sick. Gonna have a leg up. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Who's got Caspa? Who's holding Caspa here? Throw it out. In the short, they can have layer 2 DApp on their chain. Appreciate it. Smart contracts are very important. Very, very important. Absolutely. Mr. Fully Electric. Let's see. Alpha Mind said Brave Search spits out AI response first. I didn't know that. I've never done that. Weird. I didn't know they spit out an AI response first. That's crazy. Oh, and then it puts it right here. Oh, that's funny. I didn't know that. That's very neat. Damn. That gives like a full-blown AI response. That's crazy. All right, anyways, guys, listen, I love you all. I gotta get out of here. I have to get back to daddy duty. You guys know Miss Randy Hipper is gonna be live in about 10 minutes. We're gonna go raid her. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time or so, pretty close to it. And I'm also gonna try to put a video together if I can today about Tangem. something with Tangem that actually I did last night that's awesome and kind of a pain in the ass at the same time. So I got to email this guy real quick. I'm going to talk to him, the dev over at Tangem, and then once I get confirmation about why this happened inside the wallet, I will bring you guys video. But anyways, have a good day. I'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. Until then, peace out.